Today has been quite an interesting day for our first practice with the Cincinnati Bengals. And starting off right away, yes, Trey Hendrickson was at practice today. He showed up in a nicely dressed street clothes. You know, nice pants, nice collared shirt. Pretty much exactly what you would wear if you were going to sign a contract and you would want to be photographed after signing a contract. Now, obviously, he did not sign yet, or there's no contract being talked about yet. But after being very public yesterday, putting out a statement about the Bengals, man showed up in completely beautiful clothing. So we'll see how that turns out for him and if there's any update on that. But Jermaine Burton is in the rotation with Joe Burrow on Tuesday. With no T. Higgins here, Burrow throwing passes to Jamar Chase, Yoshi, Burton, Isaiah Williams, Mike Gesicki, Samaje Perine, and Chase Brown. So we got some actual passes here, but no T. So it's going to be a little bit of a less of a day. But Jermaine Burton out there, catching passes and running routes. Hey, listen, if Jermaine can get this crap together, I'll be very, very happy. So we have Trey talking to some people over here. Again, you got to think that dressed like that, you're probably looking to sign a contract, maybe. Hopefully that is the case. But let's see a Jermaine Burton catch. Let's see number 81 cooking. All right. Joe Burrow throws. And there we got Yoshi right there. Okay, so I thought that's it said Jermaine Burton putting in work. Oh, I see. I'm an idiot. I'm stupid. Joe's throwing and Jake Browning's throwing. That's why. Current practice status is expecting Hendrickson to clear the air with us as practice ends, which apparently he did talk, but they don't really have the update on that yet. Let me see if we got an update. He said he showed up and spoke out, but didn't say what he said. Chase leads wide receiver drills. No T. Higgins on the field for workouts. Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase, Yoshi on Tuesday. We just looked at this clip right here. But yes, Trey Hendrickson did show up. I'm just saying, if you're ever going to sign a contract, that's a contract type of dress. Okay, you dress like that when you're trying to sign a contract, man. So, interested. Shamar's story is at practice, but he is not working out. So, Demetrius Knight did work out today. He is ready to go, even though he hasn't signed a contract yet. He is working out and participating in drills and stuff. Shamar's story is not. He is waiting till he gets that contract done. More pictures of that. We have Joe Burrow tossing the ball around before workouts on Tuesday. Nice to see Joe back, man. Love to see this, everyone back and ready to go. All right, sorry for the quick cut, guys. Let's go ahead and play the audio.
I figured this was pretty overdue. I think there's a lot of questions, comments, concerns that I, as a man, am willing to answer. As I've gone through this with my wife, I want to lead an example for my son to face adversity head on, whatever it looks like. Good, bad, ugly. This is a blessing to be in this spot. I'd like to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for everything I've been able to do on the field. He's been the wind in my sails, and he's my foundation in times of need. And I'm excited for what's to come. And whatever chapter of my life that looks like, I've been tremendously blessed by the game of football.
What narrative or narratives have been the most false this offseason, or have been out there that not bother you the most, but that you want to clear up the most?
Man, that's a great question off the top. I think, the assumption of we had a predetermined notion of what I would be able to get in a trade value is not. There's no way of us knowing that. We were told what we were looking for, and if it was 5 first-round picks, I would have agreed. It allowed us to figure out my value across the league. Not only that, but personally, I was able to see what value I could bring to other teams and this team as well. Fortunately for me, a lot of the guys I've represented or have represented their teams at the Pro Bowl were all there with me. Danielle Hunter, Myles Garrett, Max Crosby. I've gotten to know those guys over the last 4 years, and through that, their teams have respectfully rewarded them for the hard work and dedication and willing to win that they had for their respective teams. So that was the one that didn't sit well with me, you know, that narrative of like, we guarantee something. That's not possible to do. And, you know, we gave it our best, but selling myself short is not something I was planning on doing in that process.
What did you say at the top? Sorry, y'all ended a little bit early for whatever reason. I guess, why did you end up coming out here wanting to do this today?
A little bit transpired between me and Zach. We've tried to keep it as least amount personal as possible, but at some point in this process, it becomes personal. You know, being sent 30 days before mandatory camp, or however many days it is, that if I don't show up, I will be fined, alludes to the fact that something won't get done in that time frame, and that with the lack of communication post-draft, made it evidently clear from my party, meaning my wife, my son, my agent, right? Like, we're talking a small group of people, that I had to inform that this might not work out. And that's unfortunate. I don't think it was necessary. I think we all should have hoped for the best until proven otherwise. But through that, other things have transpired, you know, like the importance of me being here in OTAs doesn't seem to be respected, you know, and I think I've carried a lot of respect. I don't mean to insinuate anything about anyone's character, but that was disappointing. I think that's the word of the offseason. I think we gave it our all under Lou's defense, and we did fall short, and that's about being a man too, is standing up. So
wow. Wow. That is a lot to stomach out loud. First off, interesting. So they did threaten to fine him. It's not surprising, because that is a typical thing when it comes to, if you don't show up to OTAs, you don't show up to certain things, you do get fined as a player. But yeah, no, that's bad taste when you're working out of the contract. Because as he said, he's not wrong. That does look like you're not confident a contract's going to get done with, because you're now at the point where you're like, you know what, we're probably not going to get a contract done by this, so if you don't show up, we're just going to fine you. And I don't know if he said he wasn't going to show up, theoretically speaking. He didn't allude to that. But I wonder if that was just kind of pre-assumed by them. Like, hey, well, we understand we're not going to get this done by this time, so you're going to get fined if you don't show up. So that's very interesting. Definitely still really homing in on the lack of respect. Seems like the front office does not respect him at all. They're to a point where they're just done with him, it seems like. And it sucks, man, because he's our best player on defense, and, you know, definitely not being respected the way he should be. At the end of the day, though, again, you know, it's one of those situations where I just don't think this gets figured out. And I said this since the beginning, and I kind of changed my tune because of some positive notes out there, but I don't think this gets figured out. I think the Bengals are looking at this, again, as business as possible. You are 1 year left in your contract, then you're going to get, you know, franchise tag 2 times, and then that's it. And after that, we'll decide what we're going to do with you. And I think that's really what Cincinnati is looking at when it comes to this, which is, you know, messed up from a pro player point of view, but it is what it is. But it doesn't seem like there is any type of communicate. I mean, based on what Trey, and again, this is one-sided here, but yeah, I will say there is something I kind of find weird about his statement about the adversity thing. You know, if my son's ever going through adversity, you know, I want him to be in the same see how to deal with it. If your son is ever in adversity to a point where he's making $18 million a year and wants to make 30, and they offered him, I guess, 27 or whatever. If he's talking about adversity is, if your adversity is dealing with paying either $30 million a year or $32 million a year, you have a very blessed life, because that is a very good thing to have to worry about. Like, whether you're not going to make an extra $10 million, an extra $5 million, when you've already made over hundreds of millions of dollars. That's insane. But beside the point, tell me down below your thoughts, opinions. See you guys in the next one.